Hey guys, today I'm going to do a new kind of video, a video that I normally haven't done before, so this is the first time I've ever done like a video similar to this. So I'm kind of nervous, I'm kind of not ready for it, I guess you could say. I did kind of make up a script and all that stuff for this video, but today I'm going to do like a little discussion video explaining what Black is, where he came from, explaining like his origins. I want to explain that with the information that we've gotten beforehand. I might be wrong about this, I might be dead wrong about this, but this is just what I have inferred, what I have concluded from the information that we have gotten before. I do have issues with this, though, like I said in the previous live reaction, but in the previous live reaction, I also read something wrong. I read that when Zamatsu was talking to Goku, I read that he said, I come from this world that you call the future. So I thought he said that he comes from Goku's future, but no, what he meant by that is that he comes from Trunks' timeline, because they refer to Trunks' timeline as the future. So that's what he meant. So I was really confused. That's the main reason why I was confused in the live reaction, because I thought that Zamatsu came from Goku's timeline and also like Black came from Goku's timeline. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? No, that doesn't make sense. And plus I was a little bit salty. I must admit, I was salty that my theory was wrong, but it just wasn't making any sense too. So I'm like, okay, I'm okay with my theory being wrong. I'm perfectly fine with my theory being wrong. It's just that it doesn't make sense. That's the only issue I had. But I'll go over that later on in the video. I just want to explain the origins first before I start pointing out like my issues with the whole like Black's origins and stuff like that. First of all, before we also start the video, this I'm going to upload to both my Dbzcuban Reacts and my Dbzcuban Talks. I normally would upload these discussion videos on my Dbzcuban Talks because that's where I do discussions, you know, theories, stuff like that. So not a lot of you are subscribed there, so please subscribe there. The main reason why not a lot of you probably aren't subscribed there is because I'm not active there. I only have one really important video on there, which is my top 10 favorite animes of all time, but also I did a really bad job with that video, so I've been trying to get better and all that stuff before I actually start getting into those videos again. So that's why I haven't been active there, but lately I'm going to be more active on there. Sometime either today or tomorrow I should upload also a discussion video about Trunks' new transformation, explaining what I see as what I think is like what I think his new transformation is. Excuse me guys, I just burped. I probably edited that out so you guys don't see it because it was like a big one. But I'm sorry guys that I burped. It's kind of informal of me to burp. But going back to what I was saying about, I'm going to kind of do a video about what I think Trunks' new transformation is sometime later today or sometime later tomorrow. So please do subscribe to my Dbzcuban Talks and please do look forward for that video. And let's just dive in with this discussion video of the origins of Black. So first of all, I want to point out that both the Goku, like the present Goku timeline and Black's past, because they're not separate timelines, they're both the same timeline, but I'm going to go into that later on, explaining what occurred, what actually happened there. But in both past, both Goku's past and both Black's past, Goku fought Zamatsu, and that's what made Zamatsu actually go for this whole entire plan. That's what actually made him dedicated to actually go for the Zero Mortal plan, or the Zero Human plan, whatever you guys want to call it. That's what made him want to do that, and that's also the reason why Trunks, the one in Trunks' timeline, didn't actually ever even thought about that. I'm going to go into that later on when I talk about like Black going into that timeline and all that stuff. But that's the main reason why Zamatsu turned evil. So essentially what was said in the previous episode, since Trunks created a new timeline where Goku is alive, he is the whole reason why Black turned evil, because Trunks made Goku alive. Now in Trunks' timeline, Zamatsu never turned evil. So that's why the whole thing about, you know, it's your fault, Trunks, that you're the reason why I wanted to do this, because Goku's still alive and all that stuff, because you created a new timeline. So the whole thing that Black did, it was 100% true. The whole thing that Black said, it's 100% true, that the reason why this is all happening is because Trunks created a new timeline where Goku is alive. So essentially, Goku bought Zamatsu, and that's what changed Zamatsu. Now, the one thing is, I'll point it out later on, but why did Goku fight Zamatsu in Black's past? Now, there's an issue I have with there, but I'll go over that later on. Then the next thing that happened in Black's past, not in Goku's past, but in Black's past that's different from Goku's past, is that Zamasu became black. So I showed it over here in the timeline after that, the whole Goku versus Zamasu. That was the next thing that happened in Goku's past that's important, or Black Goku's past that's important to actually point out. Black killed Gowas. He stole the Patara earrings, or the earrings, whatever you guys want to call it. He took the time ring. He went 1 year ahead because essentially they used the Super Dragon Balls already in both timelines, or both past, not timelines because they're the same timeline. In both past, they already used the Dragon Ball, so he uses a time ring to go into the 1 year in the future, collects the Super Dragon Balls, and makes the wish to switch bodies with Goku. And after that, he kills Goku, as shown in the previous episode. He kills Chi-Chi and Goten, and what everyone's talking about, what did Gohan do while that was all occurring? For real. Like, come on, man, you couldn't even save your own, like, family like that. I mean, it's not even that Black looks like he's stronger than Goku at that point, so I think maybe Gohan could have maybe handled Black at that point, but I'm guessing he wasn't able to get to Black in time before he actually went into Trunks' timeline, which is also the next thing that happened. Is after he became Black, killed Goku and his family, he used the time rings to go into Trunks' timeline. No, the whole reason why he went to Trunks' timeline is, I'm guessing, is because it was easier for him to use that plan. That was the timeline that was easier for him, probably, to kill the gods, which he killed all the gods of that universe. So then after that, he meets up with Zamasu. He kills Gowas in front of Zamasu, and then he tells him about his plan, and then they hug it out. Like, oh my god, you're the one I was always looking for. I was so bored and all that stuff. Because Zamasu said, in this world that you call the future, I was always bored until Black came in. So he's the one that saved Black from that boredom, or Zamasu from that boredom. Black saved Zamasu, which was himself, from the boredom of nothing ever happening. So, in that timeline, the reason why Zamasu never turned evil is because he never fought Goku, so that never actually motivated him to actually go for the plan, go forward with the mortal plan. And that's one of the differences between Trunks' Zamasu and Black Zamasu. There's a lot more that I'll go into. So then after that, Zamasu gets the Super Dragon Balls, and he also wishes for immortality, and then he destroys the Super Dragon Balls, which I'm guessing. They both destroy the Super Dragon Balls, I think. Which makes sense why they did that, because they didn't want anyone to wish to revert back that wish later on. So it was a smart idea for them to do that. And then after that, the next thing that we know of is Black starting, causing mayhem and all that stuff on Earth, on Trunks' timeline. And then after that, there's the whole fight with Trunks and Black, and then there's Black killing Bulma in the future, which was really, really depressing. And then there was the also scene where Black supposedly killed Mine. That was also emotional. And then after that, we saw Trunks over here go back into... I know I don't have them exactly lined up and all this stuff, so excuse me for my art being sucky. Trunks goes back to a point in time before Goku versus Zamasu ever even occurred. So essentially, that is one of the first differences in Goku's past versus Black's past. That is the first difference, but that didn't do anything. That didn't cause anything. That's just Trunks going back in time. And then he tells Goku about Black, and then there was the whole fight between Black and Goku, that short fight where he just went Super Saiyan 2, I think it was? Or did he go Super Saiyan 3? I don't remember. I think it was just Super Saiyan 2 where they just fight, and then Black went back into the Trunks' timeline. Because the time rings can't bring you back in time. So he would actually, what Black did is he opened up the warp that Trunks went through with the time ring, and he went through the warp that Trunks went to. Excuse me, guys, I burped again. But he used the whole warp that Trunks created, and then he went into the past through that. But since the time ring can't make you go into the past, that's why he was brought back into the future, into the Trunks' timeline. Because that is the future. And I'm guessing also, since Black also is from a future occurrence from when Trunks... Black is from a time when... after Goku versus Zamasu, essentially. To make it simple, so it's kind of difficult to explain. So since that still is the past, even though he's in a different timeline, it still is the past from what he is. He can't go back in time. So if he were to go back to his original time zone, it would be somewhere around here. Like over here where it's where he became Black. That would be him going back to the original time that he was in. He can't go back. He can only go back to his present time, or he can go into the future with the time ring. So that's kind of what it is. Then the next event that happened after, you know, the whole Trunks telling Goku about Black and then Black fighting him, the whole main event after that was Goku versus Zamasu, which also happened in Black's past. So that all is similar to Black's past. That all is similar. Now, the one thing that is different, the one thing that made this all, like controversial and everything like that was Beerus killing Zamasu in this timeline. But Black is from this timeline, and he also is alive. Now, the reason why he's still alive is because the time ring protected him. But essentially what Beerus did is by him destroying Black, or by him destroying Zamasu, which is Black, he erased this whole timeline. Like, this whole timeline where Zamasu became Black, he erased this. All of this over here was erased by Beerus doing that. All of Zamasu turning into Black, all of this, all of the future events that happen later on. Also, all of him using the time ring to go to Trunks' timeline, that would have been erased, supposedly, in theory, that should have been erased. Him going into Zamasu's past, or Trunks' timeline to talk to Zamasu. This all would have been erased. So that would have meant that all of this was erased as well. That the whole him meeting Zamasu and then Trunks going back in timeline. So essentially what Beerus did, he created this new timeline. He created a time paradox, and this is the new official timeline. So normally, this would have stayed like normal, and this would have became like a new Trunks' timeline where Black never went into there. So that's what Beerus thought was supposed to happen. But the Zamasu, or both Beerus, or both Black and Zamasu, sorry guys, both Black and Zamasu had the time ring, so that protected them. So essentially, they both are still here. So this all still happened, but this whole timeline was erased, and this became the new timeline. That's where I have an issue with. Like, it doesn't really add up. Like, for example, if that was all erased, the whole past was erased, and this became a new timeline, then this all would have been erased, and this would have never happened. So that's what Beerus said was supposed to happen. But there's something more to this, I feel like. It's not just because the time rings did not, like, protect them. It might have actually created a new timeline. So that would make sense if it did create a new timeline. So that means Beerus did create a new timeline because of Black having the time rings. But Beerus could not create a timeline just by doing that itself. If the time rings weren't included, let's just explain this in theory. If the time rings weren't included, like did not protect Black and Zamasu, then Beerus, this would have become a new timeline, and this would have changed where Trunks' future such past, the past of Trunks, the Black would have never jumped into all that stuff. But the reason why it would have created a new timeline, the reason why Beerus was thinking like that, is because when a god actually does it, when a god alters the timeline, it actually changes the timeline. It does not create a new timeline, which is proven in previous episodes of Dragon Ball Super and also in the movies, in Fugatsu no F, Revival of F, in that saga, where Whis does the whole time thing and they kill Frieza. So, if the action of Beerus killing Zamasu would have created a new timeline, then that would have also created a new timeline. But it wasn't the action of Beerus killing Zamasu. It was the action of Beerus killing Zamasu, plus the time ring protecting Black and Zamasu that created a new timeline, which I think is what happened, but it's not 100% confirmed. So I'm guessing let me actually just go undo. This still exists. Black's old past, where Trunks never happened, where they still fought Goku and Zamasu, still occurred. It's a new timeline. It's the original timeline, as you could say. It's the original timeline. And then when Trunks went back in time, added with Beerus killing Zamasu, added with them having the time rings protecting them, created this new timeline where Beerus killed Zamasu. So I'm guessing what happened is this created a new timeline where this moved up to here, where Goku tells Black, and then this still is over here. It's on both sides. It actually went over here. I know this is probably horrible and all that stuff. I'm half-assed doing this because I'm not really talented with this stuff, but this occurred over here as well. It occurred in both times. So what happened is kind of a new timeline was created, but at the same time, like, it's not just because Beerus killed Zamasu. It's because all of it adding up with Trunks going back in time, with Beerus killing Zamasu, and then them having the time rings. That's what I think happened. That's my new theory, which makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. But the whole thing where it's not a new timeline does not make perfect sense, because then that would mean that all of Black's past was erased. So if all of Black's past was erased, then all the events would have never happened. So even though he still is protected by the time ring, then it still would have never happened. It's just that itself doesn't make sense. So essentially, there has to be another timeline created. And the thing is, that timeline cannot be created between when Goas and Zamasu went into the future and Beerus killing Zamasu, because that's the difference points. That's where there has to be a difference somewhere around there. So the reason for that is because there was no new time ring made when Goas and Zamasu went into the future. They never saw any new timeline. The last timeline, or the last time ring that was created was when Trunks went into the Android Saga. So it would have to be, the ring would have to be from the last time that Goas checked to when Beerus killed Zamasu, because that's where there is the difference. Because obviously, when Beerus killed Zamasu, there couldn't have been a timeline after when Beerus killed Zamasu, because then Zamasu would have been dead anyways. So what I'm saying is, in simplified forms, is that the combination of Trunks, I know I already said that, the combination of Trunks plus Beerus killing Zamasu plus Black having the time rings created a new time ring. That's technically what it is. That created a new timeline, so that's my theory. That's what I think happens. That's how it kind of makes sense, but it still has its flaws. It still doesn't make sense. I mean, I could be dead wrong about that, but the issues I did have was just like, okay, if it did happen where just the time rings protected him, it just wouldn't make sense because it erases his past. But where it creates a new timeline, then yes, it does make sense. I hope you guys understand that. I know it's probably a little bit complicated. If you guys don't understand it, you can comment down below where I can kind of explain it, hopefully in some better words, some better terms. But hopefully this helped you understand the whole Black's origin and how it still makes sense, even though it doesn't make sense. Hopefully it does to you guys. I mean, to me, I feel like it's still bullshit. Alright, I'm gonna end the video with that. If you guys like kind of my discussion, my theory, please leave a like. Also subscribe. Check my other channel in the description box below. Also follow me on my social media to keep guys updated in case anything happens. And I'll see you guys hopefully in the next video, which should be about Trunks. Bye, guys.